When you think about crossing the Atlantic Ocean, what comes to mind? For most people, it's the roar of jet engines, the bustle of international airports, and the long hours spent in a cramped airplane seat. But what if there was another way? One that didn't involve flying at all? Imagine stepping onto a train in New York, and stepping off in London just a few hours later, without ever leaving the ground. Sounds impossible, right? But this is the kind of mind-bending engineering challenge that has fascinated dreamers, scientists, and engineers for generations. Today we're diving into one of the wildest engineering dreams ever conceived. A tunnel stretching all the way from America to Europe, deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. This isn't just a fantasy from a sci-fi novel, it's an idea that's been seriously considered by some of the world's brightest minds. Could it actually happen? Or is it just science fiction? For over 100 years, visionaries have imagined a tunnel under the Atlantic Ocean, connecting two continents by train. Early 20th century inventors sketched out wild concepts, from floating tubes anchored to the seafloor to massive underwater bridges. These ideas captured the public's imagination, even if the technology of the time was nowhere near ready. The boldest and most futuristic proposal? A vacuum-sealed tube stretching thousands of kilometers with a magnetically levitated train known as a Maglev, shooting through it at mind-blowing speeds. We're talking over 5,000 kilometers an hour thanks to the near-total lack of air resistance inside the tube. That's not just fast, it's faster than any commercial jetliner ever built, and it would make a trip across the ocean feel more like a quick commute than a long-haul journey. To put that in perspective, a typical flight from New York to London takes about 7 hours. With a transatlantic tunnel and a maglev train, you could make the same trip in under an hour. That's faster than a jet, and it would completely change the way we think about global travel. Imagine business meetings, vacations, and family visits happening at the speed of thought. No more jet lag, no more turbulence, just smooth, silent travel beneath the waves. But here's the catch. The Atlantic Ocean is a truly formidable barrier. At its deepest point, it plunges nearly 8 kilometers down, with crushing water pressure and total darkness. The seafloor is a rugged, shifting landscape, shaped by earthquakes, volcanic activity, and powerful underwater currents. Building anything down there is a massive challenge, let alone a tunnel that would stretch for thousands of kilometers. To give you an idea of the scale, the Channel Tunnel, the famous Channel connecting England and France, is about 50 kilometers long. A transatlantic tunnel would need to be over 5,500 kilometers long, about 275 times longer than the Channel Tunnel. That's like building a tunnel from New York to Los Angeles and then continuing all the way to Hawaii. And it's not just the length that's daunting. You'd have to battle the crushing water pressure of the deep ocean, which can reach over 1,000 times the pressure at sea level. Earthquakes and shifting tectonic plates could threaten the tunnel's integrity, while wild ocean currents and storms would make construction and maintenance incredibly risky. The tunnel would need to be built to withstand forces that no human structure has ever faced before. And don't forget, maintenance crews would basically be living in underwater bunkers. Imagine spending weeks or months at a time in a pressurized habitat, hundreds or even thousands of meters below the surface, just to keep the tunnel running smoothly. The psychological and physical challenges would be enormous, requiring new advances in medicine, robotics, and human endurance. And the price tag? Estimates range from $12 trillion to $50 trillion, more than the entire yearly economy of the European Union. That's enough money to build dozens of space stations or fund universal healthcare for entire continents. The sheer scale of investment required makes this one of the most expensive infrastructure projects ever imagined. So, could we ever build it? Maybe someday, with breakthroughs in materials science, artificial intelligence, and construction robotics. We'd need super strong, ultra-light materials that can withstand the ocean's pressure and corrosion. AI-powered robots would have to work around the clock, assembling tunnel segments in the most hostile environment on Earth. And we'd need new ways to generate and store energy, since powering a maglev train across the Atlantic would require a massive amount of electricity. But right now, the transatlantic tunnel remains firmly in the cool but crazy category. The technical, financial, and human challenges are just too great for today's technology. Still, history is full of impossible dreams that eventually became reality. A century ago, the idea of making instant phone calls across the ocean seemed like pure fantasy. Now we take it for granted. So, who knows? Maybe in another 100 years our descendants will look back and wonder how we ever managed without a transatlantic train. After all, every great leap in human progress starts with a wild idea and the courage to chase it. So here's the big question. Would you ride a train under the Atlantic, or would you stick to flying? Would you trust the world's most ambitious tunnel, or do you prefer the tried and true method of soaring above the clouds? Let us know your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like if you want to see more wild science ideas explored. The future is full of possibilities, and who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one riding that train beneath the Atlantic waves.